Hey everybody, it's Maureen. Um, have been sort of off the radar for a little bit, but some of that is due to mundane cars needing fixed and such. You're looking at my Tudor Taylor collection of book awesomeness. There is a new one that's going to be coming out this next year, so goals are to get that on pre-order. But this is what I've been doing most of the time is rereading the material I already have. Like Tudor Child, I used this particularly for page like 150 where the, as is marked, the doll portion. So their pattern for this and all of the good information that's in there, because they include even sources down here, which helps me with doing the dolls. Mainly with that, I have a whole bunch of medieval ones I'm going to be making here that'll be going from Anglo-Saxon up to about 1400 or so. I'm also going to look into doing Norman and other straight Saxon ones. So we're looking at continental Europe as well as English for those dolls. That's going to be mainly this winter's project. So I've been reading this and reading the other doll material that I have. I have a dollhouse book coming from that was written by Colonial Williamsburg researchers. I've been looking at what it turns into from these really pretty awesome fashion dolls to them being more of a plaything and having changeable clothing and changeable wardrobes, which really doesn't happen until around the Revolutionary War time period. You really see them just in one or two outfits up until them being more of a changeable fashion model, or at least easily done by a child in that respect. So also been looking at the wonderful color charts they have here in, now this is early Tudor. So we're talking 1500 to 1520s. And what I like is that it does talk about linen use. So you just don't get the description in the inventories about linen use being a specific bodily, it's as close to the body as possible. More like a smock than an outer dress. Not to say that you couldn't do it, because there's several different weaves of fabric that we've learned over time. So you get to play around with veils a little bit more. It's kind of like taking the coder D and then doing hanging sleeves with it. You see how it really turns from something fitted to a looser style. And then the change in the 1530s where it becomes fitted again with another sort of situation. This looks like that's a linen of some form. So, I mean, it is there and they are around, because I know Elena de Palma was talking about that she couldn't find sources for linen outer dresses, but I'm sure there has to be a use for it within period. Oh, there's that chart I was looking for. I love, love, love the wheel chart. This is what I wanted to go for. Specifically, the unspecified ones make me think that those may have been made possibly out of linen. It's hard to say. But you're seeing a lot of different kinds of weaves, and some are just saying cloth. It doesn't even say what in particular that cloth is made out of. So it makes me think that you have a lot of different kinds of weaves here available in different materials. And then you have the color chart. I've been looking at the color chart particularly because I'm going to be making a few linen kirtles for myself to round out the like 2 or 3 that I have. Just because in our modern medieval times, we have, more often than not, it's warmer than colder. So I need to make sure that I'm able to still sort of represent my time period without, you know, getting too overheated with wool. As breathable as wool is, and even if you line it in linen, it is very breathable. It's just the fact that I'm going to save those for the damp days in the spring and fall, and then have my linen for most of the real hot time in the summer. But as you can see, the main color is black. So I'm going to at least make one black kirtle where I can change out sleeves, sort of like these guys. And then, because the 1520 color chart is pretty accurate, because the color wheel doesn't change that much. Maybe more in the silk realms, when silk comes into being more available to a larger portion of people later on, and the merchant class growing in this, you know, beyond the 1520 time frame. But yeah, I'm thinking that I already have a lot of tawny. I have 2 other kirtles that are orange, so we don't really need anything in that realm. So I'm thinking either a brown one, a black one, and because red is my favorite color, I'm thinking about making another red one. So I have my ideas of main colors. Now this says up to 1520, but this doesn't really change. It changes a little, but not by much. So I know the color that I'm looking at. And the Tudor Tailor here even has a great representation of color. Trying to remember where they have that color chart, because they were able to put in a nice, you can tell this is a well-loved book. They have their own color chart in their research. But I really love this panel in the front here, because you get a variety of different styles based on class. So I'm kind of looking at this collection of ladies right here, where you have different colored bodices to different colored skirts. Not all of these were fitted jackets that went over top either. A lot of these tended to be something where it was more of a partlet that goes over. Here's a good example of that. You know, where you have this wonderful red skirt with an orange bodice, and then you have these natural colored linen sleeves, or some sort of buff colored sleeve. She even has a nice little hat over her coif, and then a partlet, a round partlet, like they have patterned later on. And this is more of a coral or orangish colored tawny skirt there. Natural colored apron, blue bodice, some sort of natural sleeve. And I don't think they were running around with just their white sleeves showing. These folks look like they're wearing hats on top of their coifs. So I think they're out to do a little bit of socializing. So you're not really seeing something here that they're working. This is a leisure picture more than a work picture. But, of course, this book I love. This is one of my first Penzic purchases. It was well worth the money. So, and I want to make, I have a few of the wool fitted jackets. I want to find out more about these waistcoats, because you're only using 1.5 yards of fabric to make your jacket, and it needs to be very fitting, and then you have your lining material. So you're getting 1.5 yards of top and lining material. So I do want to make a few of those. I'm thinking I'm going to make a few blue colored ones and a red colored one, because you're dealing with a lot of primary colors if you think about it. Blue, yellow, red, and then you do have some shades of green and brown are what you could afford, and then you're buying those colors in a material that you can afford, be it either, is this going to be a wool garment? Is it going to end up being linen possibly? So it's nice to be able to have a couple different kinds of outfits. Dress up, dress down. And then I could always take my middle to lower middle class garments to Pennsic with me, and if they get a bit dirty, they get a bit dirty, because I do want to do some teaching here at some point soon, specifically on dolls, but this even goes into the realm of dolls because it's all sort of millinery. Millinery isn't just hat making. It actually means 1,000 different things. And a milliner shop would have imported items to make clothing with. And then also, I'm going to be making a few simple head rails to have something else besides my coif, because I've been wearing just the one coif, which is nice. This is exactly 1 yard of linen that is hemmed. That's all you have to do, and then you just follow the instructions to get the nice little head rail. Just trying to find some information here. You'll have to bear with me. But I highly recommend that if you are looking into making some late period garb, this is a great book to get started. And I would say stick to the simple. Another great item that makes a simple kirtle dressed up is a partlet, and that only takes a 1/2 yard of top fabric and 1/2 yard of lining. That's the beautiful thing, is you might have extra material for something and you might be able to make a partlet. The only thing that I'm not seeing that they haven't really done with the research from here and here and here, and I do use this one too for the materials as well in case I should ever need to make gentlemen's garments too, and both have ladies and gentlemen's garments, is that you're not finding charts yet on which garments came in what colors, but that's a pretty detailed research amount. Black is the most expensive color to make, so you won't see a lot of black garments, which I know modernly we all think, oh, that's very, very somber, but it's also a very smart looking color. It isn't easy to get dirty, and because it was expensive to dye, partially the reason why you're seeing it over and over again, either in accessories or a color of an entire garment. But my idea is to make a few of the partlets. I have some wool that I'm going to do, and I want to make a couple of these in linen for those in between, you know, spring and fall, where it's like you could use an extra layer, but you don't want to put on a full extra layer. Because this is the other thing. Sleeves are fantastic. I can take my sleeves off and be several degrees cooler just wearing my undershift and no sleeves. But if I want to look spiffy, you wear those sleeves. But I'm looking for the other color chart that they provide. Here it is. So this is what colors you can get out of natural dye stuffs. So these are all the colors you can get, which I use this chart often. So I know there is some purple. I have my one main kirtle I've been wearing is mainly purple, but I want to add some reds and corals and throw in some greens and blues here and there a little bit, just to have a nice, well-rounded outfit. And I was actually reading in here, there was a lovely young lady who had at least 4 different outfits that she was able to bequeath to other people. 4 main gowns, and then she had accessories of all varieties to be able to give to those folks after she passed on. So clothing was a major commodity at this time frame, as you can imagine. So, and then they talk about more about the weaves of the fabric. So I'd like to try doing twill weave at some point on my loom downstairs. But everything's still sort of being reorganized in that realm of things, but I can kind of show you what I've been up to. Kitty cat. So yes, lots of reading, lots of research lately to try to get the right color for the right garment and figure out how many yards I'm going to need. For the regular kirtles, it's 3.5 yards. For a partlet, it's like a half a yard. For a head rail, it's 1 yard of hemmed fabric. So I'm pretty thrilled that I'm able to at least get some good yardage and then figure out how I can price things from there. So for my birthday, which is in 8 days, that's pretty much what my gift is going to be to myself, is getting a little bit of linen, making a couple dresses, and then continuing to develop my craft area in the basement. Like I have my main items up here. Like I have my dolls, my finished dolls are stored up here, and I have certain books. My lace making supplies are upstairs, things like that. CB kitty. This is just Star. She loves laying in the sun, but she always covers her head. Feline distraction is always welcome. Yesterday they were being very helpful trying to be fabric weights while I was cutting some garments. Which, if you follow my blog, I posted some pictures of the sleeves and the bodice that I made. I still have to put fixtures on the bodice and fixtures on the top of the sleeves yet. So there's still some minor sewing that needs to be done yet. But I'm currently working on what color of skirt I want to attach to the bodice, because as I was showing in the books, the bodices don't have to match the skirt that's attached to the garment to make a kirtle. So decisions. But I figured I would check in and kind of let you guys know what I've been up to. If you have any questions, you can always contact me or email me. butterfly164_2002 is my email if you have any questions, or you can always comment and I will get back to you. Have a happy Sunday. Bye.